Lads, ladies, and gentlemen, I cannot believe we're here right now, but welcome the official Alchemist Area interview. I cannot believe I'm uttering those words right now. Area, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, no, we can hear you just fine. This was
Okay,
something I
great.
was. Yeah, go ahead. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
And no, it's okay. It's great to be here, and I understand it's a
Taboo.
little bit of a shock.
It's taboo,
Yeah,
I will say.
both,
uh,
both.
This was not something I was expecting. Originally, I planned on uploading my retrospective reaction on the entire situation and then just letting bygones be bygones, but here we are. So I just want to say this before the interview begins. This is not meant to be like a performative. I'm not looking to like for dunking points. I just want to keep this as like nuanced and as fair as possible. I do believe in proportionality and the correct level of reaction based on any action. Um, I don't really think this is meant to be like a exoneration of things. It's more just like an open and honest conversation about like everything. First off, before like getting into anything, getting into like the interview, do you want to like introduce yourself, or is there anything you would like to say before we get into any questions, any words of wisdom, just like anything you want to say?
Um, Not really. I think the everyone kind of knows who I am. If they're watching this video, it's uh pretty straightforward. I am
Okay.
Maxwell, Animation Area, Alchemist Area. I am that person. Yes.
Yeah. For those of you guys who don't know, I'm sure you guys already know who this is. At this point, you clicked on the video and you probably saw the thumbnail. But former Object Show content creator, Alchemist Area, is here for an interview, which is, I would say, pretty rare nowadays. So we'll just get into the first question. First question is, what's your take on Israel Palestine? No, I'm just kidding. That was not the first question. I'm just joking.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you could answer it if you wanted to, but nah, that's just
I mean, of course, free Palestine and everything, but also I just like don't really, I don't
uh,
think that's the point.
I mean, no, yeah, no, that's a that was not meant to be a serious question. I mean, I have a
Yeah,
pretty
right.
standard take. My take is that I think Israel has a right to exist, but it doesn't have a right to be doing what it's doing to Palestine. And
Totally.
Netanyahu's the prime minister of Israel, is a war criminal. That's just my overall take. I've talked about
He's a
it
war criminal.
in my previous videos, but anyways, that's not the point of this interview.
Yeah.
That was a joke question. Anyway,
Okay.
okay, so how have you been, and what have you been up to these years? That's like the first real question.
I've been all right. I got a job. I went to school, went out of school, got a job. I graduated high school. I'm kind of not going in chronological order. I
No, it's all
graduated
good.
high school, and then COVID happened, and then I went to
Yeah.
college and got a job. Um, I went to college for a split second, and then
Nice.
um, it was just a trade school, and then I just stopped going, and I stopped like having a passion for the thing, and then now I'm working in retail, and
Gotcha. I mean, I don't think
yeah,
I'll. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm interrupting you. Go ahead.
no worries. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say that I think a lot of people don't understand the value in trade jobs, especially nowadays with like AI like being a thing.
Yeah,
It's very like I think a lot of people. I remember when I was in like high school, people would this was like a weird thing where people would like make fun of you for being in like trade jobs. It was like the weirdest thing. It's like you're gonna go to some crappy community college or a trade school or whatever. But I'm looking back on it in the
yeah,
year 2025. I'm like, doing a trade is actually probably the best thing you can do now. Like, I'm not even kidding.
yeah.
It's actually so
Um,
valuable. Like plumbers, electricians, like all of that is like stuff that AI is going to have a really tough time replacing, especially since AI is a threat to a lot of people's jobs.
yeah. And that was a big thing with this as well. I didn't really want to like deal with that.
No, it's totally cool. I get it. I mean, would you care to elaborate what specifically you were studying before you like lost your passion for it and decided to get a job doing retail
uh,
instead, or no?
I'd rather not, but it was in the medical field.
Oh, no, that's respectable. That's actually very respectable. No, you don't have to elaborate specifically. I wasn't asking that. I was
Yeah.
just saying, like, you can just say, like, the
No worries.
general job. Yeah. No, yeah, no, medical is, like, very, very respectable. I know, like, AI is also playing a role in, like, trying to. A lot of people are trying to, specifically doctors, are trying to use AI to. What is it, like, find a cure for cancer, but that's going to be like a millennia before we find that. It's like very,
Yeah, that's
it's just, I
we're
mean,
not
AI
quite there
is like a
yet.
very useful tool, but it is just like objectively a threat to people's jobs, and there are some
Yeah,
very degenerate uses of it, I think. So that's just personal
absolutely.
opinion of it.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead.
but besides that, I haven't really been like I haven't been. I've just been, doing art privately and everything. I'm still, doing art and animating. I'm just not really wanting to be that public about it anymore.
No, that's completely understandable. I mean, obviously, like, I mean, the elephant in the room is that we are going to get into like questions about like obviously the like
Of
past controversy, but like we don't have to jump
of
into it. We're
course,
not going to jump
of
into it like
course.
immediately. It's not going to be like a like it's not going to be like something that I'm looking to like do performatively. This is meant to just be like a
Yeah,
conversation. Honestly, I'm kind of like I didn't really expect it to be this way. This is kind of like almost podcasty style in a weird way. Um,
yeah,
but like
but
that's kind of like the environment I like kind of want to like cultivate here. Anyways, it's not really meant to
of
be like
course.
yeah. So I here's an interesting question. What was life like during COVID for you specifically? I think this is just an interesting question because I don't think a lot of people talk about how such a unique time culturally COVID was. So like, what was your life like during COVID?
Oh, during COVID, it was, it was about the same as a lot of other people's lives. I was staying inside. It was a little bit, obviously, I didn't really have, I had a lot of, friends and everything, but I didn't have a lot of people to like,
I think a
I
lot
have
of people
always
were
been
like
kind
that.
of, yeah, I have always been, that was because that was like the tail end of me in high school. I graduated during COVID. I was class of 2020, and it was obviously lonely and everything, but I got through it. I thankfully I never had to deal with it. I mean, I didn't have to deal with a case before I was, vaxxed.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha. So you never like actually got COVID yourself? You just or
um, I only got a vaccine breakthrough case
oh, okay.
once.
Which vaccine did you get out of curiosity? Was it Johnson Johnson?
I probably got the Pfizer.
Pfizer.
I don't remember specific. It's been so long.
I got
Um,
Moderna. So just for like
that's
context.
also fair.
Yeah, Johnson, I think my brother had to get Johnson Johnson, so it was
Mm.
very not so I could be totally wrong on that, so
I remember there was a
yeah.
little bit of a controversy about that, but
Yeah.
that was what COVID was like. It was about the same.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people talk about the reason I asked that is because like I said, I think COVID is such not a lot of people talk about how culturally it was such a unique time for a lot of people. Like people were bored, and I think the reason why I asked that was because I think that's really when the online narrative about a lot of topics like really shifted, and so that's why I felt like it was an important
Right.
question to ask because a lot of listen, the pendulum, like politically speaking, we don't have to talk about politics too much if you're not comfortable, but like the pendulum.
I don't. We can do whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like, listen, I openly talk about politics. For context, I'm moderate left
Yeah,
leaning, and so like even if you're like
I
conservative,
am.
I'm not like
I am not conservative,
okay. Even if
but
you were, I wouldn't
no,
like try to
no.
dunk on you if you were.
I understand. I understand, but no. I'd say I'm about the same.
Okay, gotcha.
But regardless, yeah, it was a really unique time.
It's yeah, I mean like
Um,
what I mean by that is like the pendulum is like always shifting like politically and so like during COVID it was like very far left. It was to the point where it was kind of annoying to be fucking honest with you. But like
that's that's fair.
it's like it was very like listen, I'm moderate left leaning. I'm very like I historically I've been super far left before. I think we knew each other during the times I was very far left. But like I try not to
Yeah.
like go super far left anymore because I think it tends to get very toxic, especially in like a lot of online atmospheres. So
No, I agree. I do agree.
Yeah, yeah, and I think COVID it was like that, and because everybody was inside, and so even like what would be content that would be considered mid would be like super good on TikTok, and so it would like really blow
Yeah.
up, and so a lot of kids that got famous during COVID, they thought to themselves, this is the way, like this is the way. A lot of kids younger than us, got famous on TikTok, and then like as people started getting more jobs, like during like 2021, as people were starting to go outside more, the content was just not there. People weren't being as terminally online anymore. So it
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Um, no, I definitely saw that, and it's really weird seeing like Billie Eilish, even Olivia Rodrigo are both younger than I am, which is like,
We're both
and they're
23.
just like the biggest.
So,
We
yeah.
are. They're like I'm not saying like I'm ancient, but I'm just saying like the biggest names now are like a lot of them
Yeah,
are like in my wheelhouse in terms of age. That's weird.
yeah, I mean it's Gen Z. Like a lot of Gen Z like got like really famous, and I think it's, I don't know, man. I feel like when people get famous, I've talked about this on the channel before, where I feel like when people tend to get famous at a young age, it's almost like people stop maturing in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
so a lot of people like they because they're constantly hanging around spheres that are either around their age, or they're constantly attracting people that are like around closer to their age, like that are like Gen Z. And so a lot of people, when they talk about stuff online, or when they like speak up about issues online, like I said, during COVID, it went like very, very far left. Now, like with our current administration in office, like it's like super, like things
Right.
shifted very far right. Which again, I'm not a huge
It
fan.
did.
I'm not a huge fan of our
Not.
administration, but like like listen on the channel. I've talked about a lot of like anti woke content creators who like it's very popular to be like a
Yeah.
very like a leaning grifter right now. It's like very, very popular in the online atmosphere
Shit.
specifically. Yeah.
It's popular, and it's so fucking easy too. It's just God.
Not, yeah, no. It
It's
Go ahead. Sorry.
it's just like the easiest fucking job you can possibly get. And there was there was a time during that video you mentioned my parents about how they were like, yeah, I don't know, they might be super religious. My parents are not religious at all. My
Oh, okay.
No, my no, there was I'm not gonna like go deep into gossip here, but
You're chilling.
at the time, yes, it was Trump mania for the first term. That's when all that
That
happened was
that
like
makes a lot of sense to
2016.
me. I mean, like, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying that as like a dig at you. I'm more so saying like it
Yeah.
makes sense, because I would say your area, and I'm not gonna say the area you're in, but
Yeah.
like the area that you're in, it's like very, I would say, is it fair to say it's a little more right leaning in some parts? It's like a little.
It's a little red. It's a little specifically I am not going to say where I am, but I am in
That's
like
fine. Yeah.
I am in a cheap part of a rich area, so like it is generally pretty red, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not like my parents are, but certainly some people, like when the Trump mania happens, some people will be swept into it.
Gotcha. And you were talking about the
Like we've
first term,
seen
right?
recently. Yes, that's
Yeah.
when all of that went down. Um, of course, more of it. I'm not going to say more of what happened is going down now, but more of the it is still a problem in society with that and
Yeah.
these certain things. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's all I have to
it's
say on that.
yeah, I mean, like in some part, I mean, I live in New York City, as you already know, but like
Yeah, yeah,
I'm still around here, yeah. So I mean, the city itself is mostly blue, like it's pretty blue here. However, the moment you go upstate and like to places like Albany and Syracuse, even in like Long Island or some parts of New Jersey, which is right next to us, it's like pretty damn red. When you get to like
yeah.
the more
Oh, yeah,
north side.
that's fair. I get that. I get that impression. No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't even say the city here is very like. I've been a lot more places since everything happened, and I kind of stopped doing YouTube. Um, I went to San Diego and Austin, and those are now I kind of know what a blue city looks like. I am not living in it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Texas has been getting a lot more diverse. Specifically, yeah,
Yeah,
like Austin. I think Plano near like Fort Worth, it's like getting pretty blue. But like everywhere else, it's like forget it. Like you go anywhere else in Texas, it's like
yeah.
it's like you got your typical MAGA hat and your double barrel shotgun on them. It's
Yeah,
like
we love Austin, but I've also been to Dallas, and it's just okay.
yeah. All right. I mean,
Yeah,
we could sit here and talk about politics all day, and I'm open
yeah,
to it.
of
But like,
course. Not right now.
yeah, I think we gone. Yeah.
I understand.
No, no, you're chilling. You're chilling. It's all good. But like I said, like this is meant to be an
Yeah,
open conversation, so I'm open to like going
of
off on a
course.
little bit of tangent. So this next question, you are free to dodge this question. By the way, this upcoming one. But you mentioned in the when you left a comment on my video, which by the way was not expecting that long comment. There's a lot of stuff to respond to in that comment, more than I could ever put in a single
Oh,
comment. But
of course.
but I mean, it definitely gives a lot of insight into a lot of things. I'll say that, guys. Like I said, if you haven't, for anyone watching, if you haven't seen my original reaction to the area retrospective stuff, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But this next question, you mentioned in that comment that you're in a new relationship. Just to be curious, how like that's been going. Obviously, you can answer it however you want, hide as much as you want, or you don't have to answer it at all. So, like, how's your relationship been going in your personal life?
It has been going pretty well. We are thinking about, um, taking things to the next level soon, but
Ooh,
eh,
okay.
things have been pretty great. We met during COVID, like during the latter end of COVID, and we've just been we let that, do its thing, and we've been going steady ever since. It's been really nice. We're living together now. She is at work at the moment, but you know, no, she everything's been things have been great.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that's nice stuff. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like, I think also it's another thing. To add on to what you said, I just got a thought. I think a lot of people have been like meeting online more than ever, actually, because of COVID specifically.
Yeah,
That's been like
and
becoming like a huge meta thing,
obviously,
especially on like dating apps as well. Which, in my opinion, like even though I'm guilty of using dating apps myself, I think dating apps are very toxic, to be honest.
I think there's a lot of toxicity that can come from that. I do understand that.
Well, I think it's
But
also yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
yeah, I obviously during COVID is going to be a little different. I feel like a little bit more people are meeting in person now, but like especially since COVID did everything it did to like the human psyche. But anyway, yeah,
No,
we've
yeah.
met online. Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
it's been going great.
yo. Yeah, no, that's good. That's really good to hear.
Our third anniversary was just a couple months back.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you. But yeah, I don't really have much more to say about my relationship. I kind of don't want to dox myself.
No, no, you're fine. Again, this I actually do have like some interesting questions about it. Did you
Of course,
and
yeah.
you can again you can dodge this next question if you don't feel comfortable going into it. You like feel free. But have
No,
you
of
ever
course.
like opened up about your past in your relationship? I think it's an interesting question to ask because you'll see why I'm asking that in a moment. But like, go ahead, I'll let you answer if you want
Yes,
to.
yes. I'm always I always when I get as close as that with someone, I am very honest with them about everything that happened.
Gotcha.
And it has tended to be like reactions have not been like terrible about it. So, and I am, like I was always when I was like 16, 17, I was always a little scared to do stuff like that, but now being much older, like an adult,
Yeah.
you know, when you're like getting with people who are like 26, 27 years old, like you are you're kind of not meant to really hide anything, and
Sure.
I don't think like I'm not in like we're not in high school anymore, basically.
I think,
I think I
yeah,
can talk about these things with people without it being like a, you know, whole I can talk about things like this with people without it being a soap opera.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
the reason I asked that was because I don't know if you know this. I had my own cancellation not too long ago. I'm pretty open about it on the channel. I don't want to like dive too deep into it, but like I think after being faced with a cancellation on that large of a scale, especially on fucking Twitter of all places, can you believe it? But
Oh,
I
you're still on Twitter? Oh
no,
no.
no, not anymore. Fuck that.
Uh but
um
you were.
I was, yeah. I mean, like, listen, I'm pretty open about it. It's not quite to the level of your. I wouldn't say it's. I don't know. It's a complicated situation. I have a video on it
That's fair.
on my old channel. I always leave the reason
I
why I have this new channel is because I always leave a link to my old channel in the description. I don't hide that it's me, Rex. I don't hide that like it's me. So like people can like find out
Yeah.
it's me easily. Like I don't hide that it's me. I just started a new channel because I. A lot of my previous audience was very. I was part of a gaming community called Dead by Daylight, and a lot of my
Oh yeah.
audience, yeah, a lot of my audience was very. Listen, I'm very left leaning, so I naturally clicked with them, but they're extremely far left. They're extremely far left.
Yeah.
It's not like a left leaning where it's like, okay, I have left leaning values. I advocate for universal health care and all these like other things. But like it's more like a far left where it's like a constant purity test nonstop. Where like I'm not even kidding. Like
Yeah.
in these far left spaces, there was like I think I think the object show community is kind of like this as well, but I don't even know if that has anything to do with politics. It's more just like a lot of children are in those spaces, and I'm not even
It
kidding.
is it is a lot of children.
Yeah, so I think the most recent cancellation that happened in the object show community was I think this guy named a person on YouTube. That's his name. I went over the situation, which is what made me want to revisit your situation. Funny enough,
Yeah.
but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know much about the specific situation, but yeah, from what I've heard, his whole situation is pretty
Yeah, I think
his whole
or
his whole
they might
situation
be
is
they
pretty
them
funny.
actually. They might be they them
Oh,
probably
okay.
maybe.
Their whole
I have no idea.
situation is their whole
They're cancel
situation is
again.
yeah, it does seem like
I'm just
they
kidding.
they were very popular in the community. Like I'm obviously not like keeping tabs on the Opto Show community every single day, obviously, but like from what I did see, they were very popular in the community, and um,
Yeah.
it's definitely not the first like time since me that a situation like that has happened. I've been like, when situations like mine, and when people tend to be mired in situations that were a lot like mine, um, I do tend to like look into it just a little because of
Oh
I guess
yeah.
because of ego.
Oh no, and not only that, like I actually think that's normal because I do that now, like after my
Yeah,
cancellation. Because listen, I'm not proud of it, but when I had my Twitch platform, I wouldn't say I was like big, but like a lot of people knew me. A lot of bigger content creators knew who I was. And so like I got around. I wouldn't say I was like the biggest content creator ever. No. Like I had like 800 followers on Twitch, but like a lot of bigger content creators were following me and stuff and they like kept up with me and stuff. But then once I
yeah,
like got into, my controversy and cancellation, I feel like I a lot by the time that happened, I think typically what happens, I've already explained this in my first interview, but typically what winds up happening is there's something called anchor bias. And if you don't know what that is, essentially anchor bias is the first piece of information tends to be the information that is everyone's truth, right? And it doesn't matter what you say, it
yeah.
doesn't matter what you give. It like typically like a lot of people tend to have that anchor bias, especially in like the spaces that I was in. What was
Right,
that?
yeah, which is funny because it's a little different in this situation because the first videos that came out about it were, videos from you and the videos from, Cracked Rank. Um, but then, those
Yeah.
videos mysteriously disappeared. I wonder why. Um, and then afterwards, there is a different anchor that people, people in the object show community are now like latching on to. And a lot of that, I will just go ahead and say a lot of that is, completely not true. And
Sure.
I'm just gonna go over this immediately. Like the reason I didn't comment about a lot of it earlier, like I've heard a lot of people saying, "Why don't you clear your name?" A lot of it was just because I was kind of too insecure, immature at like the age of even like 19, 20, 21. I was a little insecure about like the extent to which like I could really reasonably respond to the situation. You making a video about it, about what actually happened, and being completely honest about it, that did help me feel like I had actually some place to start from in responding to this.
It's neat. Yeah. I think I don't know, man. Like I definitely look back when I had my platform. The reason I'm bringing that up a lot is because like I feel like I've finally, after all these years, I guess had like a mirror held up to my soul. If that's a weird way to describe it, but it's like I finally had.
No, I totally get it. I am, yeah.
I mean, it's like
And I'm not gonna say I was like perfectly
sure, yeah.
like I'm not gonna say that my life even between 16 and 23 was like perfectly fine, and I never had to like go through any self, like see what I was doing and have to come to terms with it. I have been through that as well. Um so I do very much relate to that.
I just think information online. I think a lot of allegations online specifically tend to get very overblown and out of hand, and a lot of people don't really like realize that, which is really bad because I think. And here's my input on this. You can agree or disagree. When a lot of content creators or a lot of people I think a lot of these people mean well, generally speaking. Obviously, you have some people who are a network off of sensationalizing allegations very obnoxiously.
Yeah.
But like,
And
I think what winds up happening is you have someone who's. I think it starts off when someone actually legitimately terrible happens, right? You'll have like EDP, if you know who that is, EDP 445,
EDP.
who is like an actual legitimate danger to society, a danger to children. I'm not even like exaggerating.
Yeah.
Like that is like a legitimate like case of someone who is like a legitimately horrible person. Someone came forward about that, and then he got like the sting operation, and then years later, and then because that tends to get a lot of views, a lot of attention, they try to recreate the next EDP. And so then you'll have someone like Call Me Carson, for example, when he literally did nothing wrong, who's like a 19.
Yeah.
He's a fucking 19-year-old talking to a 17-year-old. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that was. I'm glad he was able to recover from that and everything.
I still don't think he's fully recovered. I still think, but like most content creators abandoned him because they were scared of getting canceled, which is
Right.
like it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Next question. So, again, I guess this is like sort of pertaining to the allegations. So, we already dived into it a little bit. So the video was released on the alternate channel. I was one of the two people that ran it. And before we go into it, I know you mentioned earlier, the channel mysteriously disappeared. I didn't have full access to the channel. It was both me and Cracked Rack, and I can say Cracked Rack publicly because he was publicly involved, and he makes it known that he was publicly involved. So I don't feel obligated to censor his name out because he was involved.
That's fair.
But like but anyone that's like deeply involved in the situation, I'm gonna censor if
Let's just
yeah.
Yeah.
But essentially, I think I think it was him that deleted the channel because I uploaded my video and then I was done. Like that was kind of just it for me. I wanted to have all the information available in like one video, even if I wasn't proud of the way I conveyed some of that information. Again, I go into more in the video, guys, if you want to check that out, description. But then Cracked Rack uploaded a bunch of other like videos. Anyway, after you responded on Skype for the first time, because I think that was your initial response at first. Like you talked to somebody on Skype, and that was your response. Where It was I think it was on the ED article where it was you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
where you initially responded on Skype. Yeah. And then you responded on your So How Thirst video. I believe it was in March of 2019. And then you were a
That did
ghost.
happen, yes.
Yeah, you were a ghost.
Yeah.
And you left the internet. And I'm just curious, did your time away from the internet, were you still, like, active in watching different parts of the internet? Or were you just, like, completely off the grid, like, during that time?
Oh, I wasn't off the grid. I was just, not interacting with anything. I was very much still, um, I would very much often come back and like look at, I would still Google myself and, just watch certain, pieces of content and like maybe check up on what people are saying about me every so often. But yeah, I spent most of my time just um like coming to terms with myself, who I am, trying to heal from all of this, focusing on school a lot because that was when I was still in school. Um but yeah, and I kind of just didn't want to like make my presence like at all known. My presence, my like what presence I had known, just so people would be, I wouldn't be making people uncomfortable.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I know how that feels. Like, I think after I know I keep bringing my story into this, but I can just relate so heavily now
No
because
worries.
I think I went through like a similar like cancellation. Which again, if you want to know more about it, you can look at my old Doctor Evil Bad Rex channel. You can just look at it, and it's publicly available. Everything's available online if you care to like look into it.
Yeah.
But basically,
I haven't yet, but I am looking forward after this to.
yeah, someone came forward with allegations against me. That's the extent I'll go into it. It's
Right.
very
Yeah.
it's just like not really. I don't know. I'll anyway. The
Right.
but when I went through like my cancellation, I kind of I the way I handled it was I released my first response on Twitter, which was poorly received, and then I just went off the fucking grid. Like everybody that knew me online, like I fucking disappeared. Like I was off. Like I even deleted like my Instagram. Well, I didn't delete my Instagram. I deleted the app. My Instagram account's still up. It's just I just went completely fucking off the grid. I'm like, all right, listen, I'm a ghost. Forget it, dude. I'm done. Like you guys ain't gonna see me again. Like I'm just gonna
And
keep to
and
myself.
whenabouts was whenabouts was this?
When was this you're asking?
Yeah.
This was very recent. It was October of 2024.
Oh, okay.
So it's still like
Yeah.
it's still pretty fucking recent, all things considered. I'm stronger than I look,
Right.
so I
Yeah.
obviously like I've had
And
my moments
obviously,
where it sucks, but like I'm stronger than I look, so
and
I wound up being like overall okay from it, but it's I think it really like got me down the rabbit hole of like doing this channel now. Essentially, that's like my main motivation for this channel now.
yeah,
Of just
that's
yeah.
that's really noble. That's really cool. Yeah, and obviously you weren't canceled when you were, like this wasn't happening to you at 16. This was happening to you at, 22, I guess. Like,
Well, the actual events were when I was like around 19 years old, I would say. Like the actual event of
oh,
the
okay,
allegations were when I was 19, but it didn't come forward until like years later. Um,
right.
and it's just
Yeah, that's fair.
in my opinion, it was a bunch of sensationalized fucking nonsense. But it's just
Yeah,
that's as far as I'm gonna like go about that. Everything's publicly
yeah.
available. But like it's
Oh, yeah. This is
yeah.
this is about me, you know.
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah. Sorry, I'm not trying to.
No worries.
The reason I'm bringing it up is just because it's more like it's like I can like relate to it. So if anything, I'm just trying to like apply myself, like put myself into your shoes, like when you retell your story. Um,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
and so like not a lot of people understand like what it's like to go through like cancellation, especially at a young age. I think a lot more people now know, especially with like TikTok being a thing and a lot of situations happening and like because again, like a person is a person. You don't see what a person is. Like unfortunately, a lot of people online like that's why I'm of the opinion that we have to like maybe it's probably I recently developed this opinion. I'm like maybe it's probably best if people don't come forward on the internet as much. And not to say that like when I say it like that, I don't mean it's like I don't mean like people like victims who are legitimate victims of like serious things shouldn't speak up about something.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that like we have to be careful about coming forward online about something. And the reason I say that is because when people come forward online about something, you are susceptible to hearing all sorts of different opinions. That's when you're probably in your most vulnerable state, revisiting something that could have potentially happened to you traumatically. So when a woman like comes forward like about a story about her sexual assault online, you're going to hear like opinions from all sorts of different directions. You're going to hear people that are going to like say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry this happened to you," or you're going to get people that are just going to deny everybody because there's people that will just deny everything they hear online. And so that's why
Yeah.
you have to be careful when you go to see a therapist. They're very careful not to overvalidate or undervalidate your trauma. They're very careful to sit you where you are because if they overvalidate your feelings, that can be an additional trauma because that like they're overplaying something and like if they're making it seem worse than it actually could have been, that can be like an additional, oh my God, something terrible happened to me, and that's like traumatic feeling.
Yeah.
uh,
I do think there are like in certain cases you should definitely like keep that private. Yes.
yeah, I usually think if it's like in the case of sexual assault or like a legitimate case of like pedophilia, you should go to
Yeah.
the police. Like generally speaking, I think the police
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's
even if it's not perfect, even if it, like I'm not a fan of like our system and it's not
yeah.
perfect, I still think it's better than coming forward online about it specifically.
Yeah. Um yeah. And like that, I'm not going to like really tie that with my my situation, but that there if I feel like you are intimately involved with the situation enough to understand that there's a connection there, you
No,
know?
I understand. Yeah. I guess I'll ask a follow-up question to the previous one. So after you
Yeah.
responded on Skype and in your So How Thirst video, is there a way you would respond like differently? Do you reflect on how you responded? Like I'm sure you do, but is there a way that you like I guess if there's anything you would change about your Skype or your So How Thirst response, is there a way you would change those things?
I mean, for first of all, there were like a lot of I know which one specifically you're talking about, but there were a lot of different responses that I made on Skype and like and on other platforms. I was not like I did not specifically make that. I did not say that to that specific person, knowing it would be like the screenshot on the article. But in terms of my response on So How Thirst, yes, there are a lot of things I would do differently. It's one of those videos, like you know, really, it's all of my videos are like this at this point. But it's one of those things you look back on and you just cringe because you were. I was 17 years old making that, and I was very like insecure. I didn't. I really like. I felt weird talking about the allegations on the internet. Like I felt like I I was just not like ready to make a response at that time, and I think it showed in the way I like eloquated in the way that I you know that I conducted myself during that video of just trying to dance around everything that happened and just try and be like why don't we all get along? Everything's like we can just move on from this. And no, I don't get that. I don't get that.
Sure. Yeah. No,
Um,
I mean it's it's tough to know what the right call is when you're like faced with something. You could make a very thorough response saying, "Hey, like this is not true in this and this way," and then some people won't care because they already, like I said, that anchor bias could be there. But it also, I guess, the tone and how you respond also can affect it as well. Um, yeah, I mean it's just one of those things where I think everybody looks back on like an old action on how they handled a situation and they think, "Oh, yeah, I could have done this better." Yeah, that's not great.
yeah, of course. And like, what I was gonna say about that, with So Health, yeah, I was very on that review. I was very like indirect. I would have been a lot more direct and honest because like yeah, if people are saying I have a hiccup fetish, then I have a hiccup fetish. It's just not like it's not like I can downplay that at all.
Yeah,
Like it is just like, yeah, I think I had like theorized in my head a lot of different ways I could like do like a second response, but I no, I think what I said in my comment on your video serves as well as a it serves to be as good of a response as I can really, muster ever.
sure.
Because I was
Yeah,
I I needed to be more direct is the theme, yes.
sure, yeah. And I mean, like, again, one of the things you mentioned was that a lot of people thought you were an adult when these happened. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's obviously like a huge thing. I tried to make it clear in one part of my video that like one of the times you were like 15.
Yeah.
But again, a lot of people, like I said, I think when a lot of people are young, they mean well. I know like my motivation for the allegations, and I'm not trying to say it excuses like some of my language when I put it out there. My motivation was just like looking out for people that were involved and like being like, oh wow, this behavior hasn't changed or whatever. That was my like original motivation behind it. Could I have done some things better? Yeah, absolutely. But I think there are aspects. I'm not trying to like downplay like the situation at all. It's just
Yeah.
more
No,
like
of course.
it's more like an honest look at the conversation. Um,
Exactly. Um like the thing about that is I believe I could be very wrong about this, but when the Encyclopedia Dramatica article dropped like the first time on me, I don't think my age was in like the lead section. I like now it says Alchemist Area is a 16-year-old pedophile. Um, Alchemist.
yeah.
It just said I don't think it said 16 years old at the time, which led a lot of people to believe a lot of things that weren't true.
Yeah, I mean, I think what a lot of people don't realize is Encyclopedia Dramatica, the whole purpose is it's meant to be like this fucking nonsense article that's just like that's what it's meant to do. That's what the articles are designed to do. If you look at any other ED article on other people, which I don't do personally, but like it's meant to be like an exaggeration. I'm
Yeah,
yeah. It's like
the entire thing
yeah,
because the entire thing just came from the Christian culture,
pretty much,
but
yeah.
like
I
but
think that's why
with
the post was removed at first, by the way. I think it got deleted because it was, I think you were still, like, underage at the time. I think that's the reason they did. But I think they claim, this is based off my recollection. I heard that, like, the
right.
admins or something like that were like, if we find out that he's, like, still doing this as he's older, we'll bring it back and we'll extend the article or something like that. I think that was the
That
original
yeah,
claim at the time. I don't remember
exactly.
all the
And
details.
I remember I remember that kind of just being, in 2019, having the contacts that I had in 2019. I was aware that like, yes, this was being taken down because I was a kid, and also I thought it was like, and I might have been a little bit more scared to go out and do something like this because I feel like I wasn't sure if it at the time. I wasn't sure if it was like, oh, if you do anything, then we'll put the article back up, or if you just do any more of this BS, we'll put the article back up.
That
But
makes
like,
sense.
no. But at this point, I could not give a rat's ass.
Yeah, I mean, I think the article got. I'm pretty sure the article was like archived by like some
It was
people.
archived. It was archived. You can still look it up and read on through it if you want to.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
don't think most people do anymore these days, but it's
yeah, I don't think
it's kind of a thing of the past at
I
this point.
yeah, I get the feeling people really. I'm not going to say I get the feeling people really don't care. I get the feeling people really don't care about information from that source, and I think the world is a little better for it.
Probably. I mean, I thought it was like shutting down at some point. I haven't kept up with it though. All right. I guess regarding the actual allegations, before I ask anything like directly, like I think I already asked a few questions directly, but is there anything you wish to like touch on specifically? Is there any point that you want to start on? And is there anything you like else you want to talk about regarding the allegations that you want to clear up? Is there a certain place you want to start?
Well, things from the comment that I made that I might want to that I might want to reiterate.
Sure.
No, everything that was about jailbait and the age of consent, like everything in regarding that was I made those comments when I was maybe 13. I was definitely not over the age of 14, and I definitely did not believe it past the age of 14. I think a lot of what I did was kind of like me screwing up and then me realizing I screwed up and doing as much as I can about it, but obviously you can't really do anything. Obviously you can't really do everything about it, you know?
Sure, that makes
Um
sense. Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I ever said I don't think I was ever I about unsolicited pictures.
Sure.
I don't want to say that I was ever I don't want to say that I'm completely innocent because, again, something I want to bring up is that I have a very foggy recollection of everything that happened. I have a relatively foggy recollection of everything that happened because of, trauma, which I'm not going to I'm not going to over dramatize it, but it did happen to me as well. And, that.
I mean, it makes sense. Anyone that goes
Any,
through like a cancellation on a large scale would be traumatized, like inherently. It just depends on
exactly.
if they're worthy of caring. Like if it's EDP, then I don't care that he got
Yeah.
traumatized. To be brutally honest, but if it's someone like you, where my overall take, I already mentioned this in the previous video. My overall take is I think some of what happened was like inappropriate, but I think the original allegations were a little bit like too overblown, and so I think it needed to be handled with a little more proportionality, based on everything.
Yeah.
I think I explained like part of where my mindset was at the time in the original response as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. And again, if I didn't make it clear, I was absolutely a big fat fucking penis to you when I was 15, and I'm really sorry about that.
It's okay. I'm not holding a grudge at you for it. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
of
I'm not
course.
like I don't really hold a grudge against like most people from my past. It is what
Yeah.
it is. Like I'm kind of just like a rogue wolf doing my thing on this channel now. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like I do feel bad for the people that like were involved, but also I think there's a lot more like of an honest conversation that like I don't think the internet is like mature enough to have, to be honest with you. But
Well, at least the object show community, anyway.
probably not. Yeah, I doubt. Like,
Yeah.
listen, like I said, this whole like conversation is not meant to be like a vindication piece. It's more just like like I said, it's just another like honest conversation about everything.
Yeah.
Very I guess you kind of already answered this, but I guess I'll just ask like again if there's anything else you want to open up about it.
Yeah.
How did you personally deal with like your own cancellation and allegations, like just behind the scenes? Like just in your personal life, how did you like deal with it, and how did you like cope with the idea of like dealing with everything?
Um. Well, I was 16, so when you're 16 and something like this happens to you, the results are not fantastic usually, but um, there was nothing I didn't have any unhealthy coping mechanisms. It's just um really at the time, a lot of it was, again, I don't want to dox myself, and I don't think this will do much for that, but
I can
at
censor
the
it out if it's
time,
too much.
no, my grandparents were moving out of their house at the time, and I was mostly helping with that. Um, of course, I was extremely, I was going through a depression. I kind of took a very long time just being completely off the grid, doing nothing. Before finding seeking different circles and making new friends. Um, which happened most of which happened right before COVID. Um, but in terms of how I coped, it was a lot of Thankfully that happened during summer break, so I had a few like weeks before I had to go, but back to school before so that I could use to just like take it easy and all. But um coping, I was mostly drinking a lot of soda and like trying my best to, bond with my family and help them out with, again, my grandparents moving out and everything. But I was that's about how it went. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that's generally, I actually think that's a lot more common. I know I keep saying that. It sounds like a copy and paste at this point. I sound like a broken record. But, like, it's that, like, whenever someone goes, like, gets cut off from a lot of their social life, it's pretty common. I mean, I know I bonded with my family during my situation a lot more. Tried to, like, help them with whatever they needed, and I still have that bond, obviously. I have, like, people I talk to in my personal life now, but it's
Yeah.
still, like, it's just like one of those things where it's just like, we need somebody pushing back against like some of this stuff, and so that's kind of like where this came from. So very
Yeah.
oh, did you have something you wanted to say and add on to that or no?
No, I was just gonna say it's the same with me and everything.
Sure, yeah, okay. So, I very curious to hear this is a curious question that I had. What is your like opinion on like internet allegations as like a whole and your stance like through your perspective of going through like a cancellation yourself, and how did that make you view like some of these other situations, if you like any heard anyone else like being under fire from some stuff, and is there any situation that comes to mind from your perspective on what you think was overblown, or just like any drama you've heard that
Well,
is like,
I think a lot of it is I think a lot of it is obviously very necessary, in keeping like especially children safe. But also I feel like a lot of it is very, very overblown. I remember specifically, I like very loosely keep up with the Call Me Carson stuff because that it's as much as I was like not nearly as popular as he was, it was a similar
sure.
kind of situation. And I saw that Hassan Piker talked about how like, oh, this is really weird, and that kind
God.
of made me like not like him. That kind of made me like him a little less
Oh my god.
because yeah,
Do you,
and like, and when you're dealing with people like him, he's like what like you said that there's a point where like sensationalizing is not just something that happens on the right. It happens a lot with people like Hassan Piker, and I really don't agree with it.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
do you keep
and
up
I
with
think
the
there's a
Hassan
lot of
Piker drama?
not recently, but I know I only really know about that's all I kind of really needed to figure out that I kind of just don't like him.
That's
but
fair
no,
enough. I also cut you
but
off
this isn't
earlier, so I'm
about
sorry.
this isn't no, you're good. This isn't about Hassan Piker. I feel like there are a lot of instances in which it's good that people get called out. Like there's a lot of bad people on the internet, obviously, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunism. Um, there's a lot of just like I shouldn't say a lot. There are a lot of situations, specifically from what I saw in the After Show community, that I don't really like. Like I'm gonna be direct about it. And just like I shouldn't no, but really in the After Show community, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens. There are a lot of weirdos. There are a lot of big weirdos. There's a lot of people who really don't do anything wrong that just get called out and like have their whole reputation ruined, and they can't really say much because a lot of the internet is becoming more and more just um dominated by really immature people. I would say children, but a lot of these people are in their like 20s and 30s.
Oh yeah, no,
Um
100%.
and it's just
Well, like I said, I think
and
there's
they like to
I'm so sorry.
they like to sensationalize. They like to make things, regarding, like, because a lot of these situations, if you're 18, 19, like, if you're like, I shouldn't even say 18, 19. If you're like in your 20s doing weird shit, then yeah, that's disgusting. I think you deserve to be called out for it in a lot of ways, but um like if you're like a kid, if you're like a teenager doing something, like, if you're a teenager like I was, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, I'm completely innocent. I did nothing." But even like if you're, regardless of innocence, there are, like, I think we should accept that morally gray does kind of exist,
Yes.
like as being a person, definitely. Um and I think, like you said, a lot of what I did was inappropriate and really concerning, and I will say, like, I did deserve to, be called out for it on some level, but I feel like a lot of, obviously, and I am going to again name drop this person. I think you
Sure.
and had kind of different intentions, you know,
Yeah.
and,
Um.
like,
Yeah.
but um, in regards to, because um I've really only, I have kind of an ego. I've really only been focusing on, um what's the word, situations. I don't want to say drama, because a lot of these are legitimate situations, but situations that are a lot like, what I did and what the people I hurt went through, just to in order to have more of an educated perspective on it from, my own shoes.
Gotcha.
And from what I've seen of that, it has been a big mixed bag. It's been a lot of, like, it's been a lot of creeps getting what they deserve, and what I think they deserve personally, and a lot of kids who are, kind of just getting
Sure.
shafted.
Is there any situation in particular that comes to mind when you talk about those?
I don't really want to, like, name drop anyone in case there's like a, but if you are, I don't want to name drop anyone,
Yeah, I
but
can censor them out
I
if you
think,
want, but I won't. I won't pry at you to like say them if you don't want to. But yeah.
um no, I mostly, but if there is you could just look up object show drama and it'll probably all be there. All the names I'm thinking of.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Sounds good. Maybe that's something else I could look at for the channel. Maybe. Who knows? Um.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, like I said, I think one of them, one comes to mind from the Outer Show community. I talked about them before you did. It was the person on YouTube where they got canceled. Seemingly, they were like the person involved was like a 17-year-old. And then what? A poi would have been like 19 or 20, which even if it's that age gap,
Oh my goodness.
I don't care that much.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 to 3 year age gap. I'm not gonna sit here and pearl clutch over it. But
Yeah.
apparently she was like 18 during all of this. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Okay, then who gives a fuck? I'm like, all
Who
right, cool.
cares?
And it's just like
Yeah.
and I think he got canceled for having like a fart fetish, and I'm just like, oh wow,
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It was like a whole thing. I looked at it. I was like, listen, I don't think this girl is coming forward with like malicious intention. I don't think she's trying to get him canceled. I think she probably,
Yeah.
like, my interpretation of like reading through everything, I think she probably thought something legitimately bad happened to her. And so she was like, oh, yeah, so this guy did like a shitty thing to me. And I'm like, okay, well, I
Yeah.
mean, they're young. So it's like, I'm not going to sit here and like try to blame either side. It is what it is. What happened, happened.
Of course. And, like, but in the end, life goes on, and I don't know. I hope, if there really was a problem there, I hope that, that's particular, like, that everyone involved gets the help they need. But, like, I don't know. Like, there's been a lot of, like, canceling people because, like, I don't know, with someone like, we've already name dropped him a million times. With someone like Apoy, um, name dropped them like a million times. Apoy, um, I feel like weren't they like a particularly popular content creator? Like they had
Yeah,
over 100,000
it
subs.
was like 155,000 or 166,000, I think.
Yeah, wow.
They were big. Yeah, they got
If
around.
yeah, but like if I think a lot of it has to do with whether you're being parasocial with fans, like like I was personally, because like I'm not gonna like
Uh, yeah, go ahead.
what's the word? I'm not gonna absolve anything I did here because it's a lot of it is in the same wheelhouse. But like if you're being parasocial with fans, that's kind of weird. And I feel like if you are in I don't really want to get into like inanimate insanity here specifically, but
Sure.
if anyone, but I am certainly not the only one who has been let go of by Adam for these, sorts of allegations.
Yeah.
Um, and like when I see like people in like the op show community, like adults, they're being parasocial with, like obviously with kids is a different story, but when you're being parasocial in a way that there's not much of an age gap really at all, um, which I believe from the specific person I'm thinking of, there has been a lot of conflicting data as to whether or not underage people were involved. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I feel like if you're being parasocial in like a non-pedophilic way, in like even in a non-pedophilic way, in like a I guess what you could call a kid space or what's supposed to be a kid-friendly space, then I guess I can understand like being taken, off of a team
Yeah.
for that or like being canceled for that. But
Sure.
I don't know if you're like, but I'm not gonna say like it's inherently horrible to like if you're like I don't know. Parasocial relationships are bad, and there's a like a they are a big problem. And I feel like if you're in the same space as someone like Aploy or just in the Opti Show community or something like that, I know there's a lot more kid-friendly communities on the internet these days. Um, if you are like in that space and you are doing parasocial stuff with your fans, then that's kind of weird. But I don't know. I feel like if you're doing parasocial stuff with your fans and there's no age gap there, then I think that's just weird, and we should probably like. I think there's more of a
Yeah.
discussion to be had there.
Yeah, I
You know?
mean, my take is that this goes back to the Call Me Carson situation where people were shifting the goalpost. They were like, okay, but the age gap's not a problem, but he's a popular content creator and they were a fan. Hot take. This might be like I might get canceled again for saying this, but if you're so fucking parasocial to the point where you see like a person bigger than you and you feel compelled to send them a picture of your tits or whatever, then maybe you shouldn't be on the fucking internet. Sorry. Like, listen, listen, I know that might sound crass of me, but it's like, no one cancels. You know what groupies are? Are you familiar with
Oh
groupies?
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
and
no one's going to cancel groupies, so, like, why do we go after. The only time where the parasocial slash power dynamic argument matters is if that person, like, abuses that power in some way. If they say something like,
yeah,
hey, if you don't have sex with me, I will, like, literally ruin your life, that's predatory. That's extremely
yeah,
problematic.
that's rape.
Yeah.
But like with yeah, and in fact, like as I have been, mired in my own situation and like researching stuff like this, and or as like a form of soul searching and real and trying to realize how to better respond to situations like this. Yeah, people like with groupies even um there were a lot of underage groupies with a lot of very popular people that
Oh, okay.
were
Well,
not
then
canceled,
that's
which is
yeah.
awful.
And a lot of these like rock bands, like a lot of the older ones were like probably in their 40s or 50s, which obviously is a problem. So that's like,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
yeah. It's okay. So in that case, that's like
But
different.
and like the thing is also the thing is nobody really talks about it. These are like still very respected names, and it kind of made me think like, yeah, I did a lot of awful stuff, and I think on top of that, people in the community kind of just don't like me and never did, And I'm not talking about like fans. I'm talking about like other creators, which
Yeah.
like you said in your video, I was the butt of a lot of jokes. Which, when I was like 14 or 15, I was like, no, you never, don't do that to me. Like, but now that I'm like 23 and I find it, in retrospect, I kind of find it all pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, um, like I am going to name drop these things. Oh, I saw a lot of, and that was a lot of making fun of me, and I thought that was really funny. And
Sure.
like even the Encyclopedia Dramatica article, to an extent, there were some things I found funny on there, but anyway, I'm not really going to go into that rabbit hole.
Sure.
But yes, yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's yeah, like I said, it's just normal to look back and think, oh, some things I did were cringe or like some things were not so great. I guess into this next question, this is going to be like a pretty direct one. The object
yeah.
show meetup. Well, there's obviously no evidence that the object show meetup that anything ever occurred, obviously. People still got concerned seeing that like image in like the context of like the allegations coming out. So like people like looked at it retroactively and was like, oh, what the fuck happened here, right? Like that's the impression that people were getting. And so I know
Yeah.
in the comment to my first video, you obviously cleared this up, but is there any insight you either want to repeat or give more context to here for the object show meetup?
Um, the thing about that is like I feel like people are going on about, oh, how could this have possibly happened? Oh no, but like that was not like I was. There were 6 people in that meetup that were like, what's the word? That were like supervising and leading the whole thing, and they're all in the Q&A panel of IBFDI 2018. That was the whole thing. I was like, I convinced my mom the night before to drive me out. I was not. Nobody knew I was coming. And I don't think it'd be like, oh, they would like completely would have banned me from entering, but like I feel like I don't know. None of it was on them. None of this is like an, oh, how could this have possibly happened? It's nothing like that. It's just
Sure.
I decided to show up, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and that was very shortly before everything came out, but it was um I'm not going to say, oh, it was after everything happened, but it was quite a while after a lot of the things that are talked about in regards to me happened. You know?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we brought it up earlier, but like obviously, like when inanimate insanity like lets people go and stuff. When a lot of bigger content creators, I'm not even gonna just limit this to inanimate insanity because a lot of
Yeah.
bigger when you get big on YouTube, a lot of it is an optics play. A lot of it is how it looks. And so when people cut you off from like an overwhelming narrative, typically they'll what winds up happening, I've noticed, is a lot of people will cut them off or like get them out of their life not because it's necessarily the truth but because of how it looks, and then they'll try to convince themselves, oh, I did the right thing. I did the right thing by cutting this person off. Like they were outed as terrible, everyone says they're terrible, I did the right thing by keeping myself and everyone else safe. Right.
Yeah. And I'm not going to name names, but I think there has been a lot of that in the object show community. And I think it's fair from like a business perspective, but I think there is a discussion to be had about it, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean,
Should I be the one having that discussion? Absolutely not. But that's how I feel about that.
I think it's
Yes.
in like every community online. Like a lot of communities, when you
Yeah.
have like bigger content creators that are very much like about optics, there's some that are more toxic than others, but that's I think it exists universally in the online atmosphere specifically. I have noticed that we
Yeah.
do have like some more people like pushing back against some of this stuff because some of it is getting ridiculous. So I am noticing a little more of a pushback, but it's more like yeah. Looking back at like every allegation, I think we've said it, but just like one more time, like looking back at every allegation, would you say that some of it was, like inappropriate in hindsight, or is there like obviously like I know that you said that there's like a level of regret. Of course, is there anything you want to like say about that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was all very inappropriate of me to do. And either I kind of like it kind of just ate at me for a very, very long time afterwards. And like obviously, and there are a lot of big things about it were one, when I was like 16, I was kind of hence, and when I was like 16 and 17, I was a bit too insecure to be direct with, like, even with myself on a lot of this stuff. Hence, the apology I made when I was, that age where I kind of danced around everything. But no, that was kind of just because of overwhelming, regret and remorse. But and I think not to like be not to be about this, but and I really want to like tread carefully when saying this. There was a comment that you made on that video, on that apology video, that mentioned like me being very like stilted and just not being like
I think I
my
remember.
tone did
Yeah.
not my tone did not give the impression that I was actually sorry, and that was like
Was that a good read or no?
no, not at all.
Damn.
And like that was, and I was, no, I was like, I kind of just was too insecure to be like, one, I'm just autistic in general, of course. So
Fair.
emotions do not come like, having an emotional voice does not come as like an easy thing for me to do, or like always necessary in like immediately. But the big thing is just no, I was fucked up about it, just to be very concise. And I was fucked up for a while, and it's how remorseful I was, and like the level of things that I was being, you know, like the level of seriousness of the allegations, and like just the things that like my anxiety about, oh, do am I what am I guilty of, what am I not guilty of, there are holes, like the holes in my memory and everything from the trauma, like all of that coalesced into kind of me wanting to ghost, and like not like just be completely just detach myself completely from the situation, because nothing I could say was really going to um not I shouldn't say help me. Nothing I was going to say could really change anything, is what I thought. You know?
In a lot of the cases, that winds up being true. And
Yeah.
yeah, like when you, typically what a lot of people will do online is when you come forward with something. I noticed one of the comments of my Twitter thread was like, this is 33 pages of just deflection and no accountability. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, what does accountability mean? And they're not. Whenever you like think about that, if you were to directly ask these people what accountability means, they're gonna go radio silent on you. They're not gonna have an answer for you, because it's not.
Yeah.
It's usually never about accountability. It's usually like, even if people are very remorseful in like the slightest cancellation or slightly disagreeing with someone's beliefs, even if someone is like slightly even if they are remorseful, they're still gonna shit on you. If you try to debunk the allegations, some people will still find a way to shit on you. There's not really, it's a lose-lose situation with a lot of these people.
Yeah.
It's never really about accountability. They just want a excuse to do what's called virtue bullying. where they bully
Yeah.
people because it looks good and they feel good in doing it. That's literally all it is to a lot of these people. I genuinely think most people online do not care about situations or anything that is going on, which is really upsetting because when I try to like look at every situation for years, I've always tried to keep it real, and I've always gave a shit about doing the right thing. And I know no one's gonna believe me when I say that, so it is what it is. But like
Yeah,
I
but
try to like give a shit about like situations, generally speaking, and applies some proportionality to it now more so, not so much back then. I was a little bit disproportionate because I was in like super far left spheres, and I got to a point where I was very toxic, which I'm not proud of.
yeah,
But it's still like now I just try to like apply a proportionality, and like what like on
and
this new channel
obviously,
I'm trying to like cultivate like a new audience that's like based off of that.
yeah, and obviously also we were all kids.
Yeah.
We were this was all when we were very young.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
Um,
still kind of kept it up, like, as I got older, but it's still, like,
yeah,
I still, to me, like, I'm 23 years old, turning 24, like, to me, an 18, 19-year-old's still a kid, even a 20-year-old's still a kid to me. Like,
yeah,
even if you're legally an adult, right, like, obviously, yeah, you're legally an adult and everything, but, like, to me, they're still a kid, like, you're still fucking young, and you're still learning, and you're still going to college and shit, so, like, I don't know,
yeah.
but that's very
And I
different,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, but with all of this, yeah, I definitely do. I definitely agree. There's a lot of like spaces in which, you know, you just kind of, yeah, there's like, that's something I kind of had to come to terms with during, while I was trying to soul search and really find out who I am after all of that. I found out who I was after all of that. That was a thing I had to come to terms with. Like, life goes on. Um, People are mostly just concerned about when you have a situation like this, and the people are sufficiently immature. Um, a lot of it boils down to just how you can ruin someone completely and not give them a way out because and like in a lot of these cases that's good because you shouldn't really be concerned about letting them out, but in a lot of cases people are innocent or more innocent than they like immediately come off as.
Yeah, or they're either innocent or they're more, or just the allegations tend to be like very sensationalized or exaggerated. But
Yeah.
I still consider exaggerated allegations false allegations to a big extent.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I already like reflected on your situation. I think a lot of what happened was like inappropriate, but it's more of like a. I think when we were kids at the time, a lot of people when they're kids, they think a lot of people on like kids don't understand like the real world in a lot of cases. They don't understand as a lot of stuff that happens in the real world. They don't really have any understanding of like how much life there is out there and how in the real world, right? There a lot of online drama that a lot of kids like who I think a lot of them mean well. Like in the real world, a lot of people would look at it and go like, "What the fuck am I looking at?" And so
Yeah.
when you and unfortunately, like a view is a view. You don't see who that person is. Like they could be like 13 years old, they could be like a 33-year-old. You don't know who that person behind the screen is ever. And so you see every view as the same. So when you have a lot of kids that like go at you and say, "Oh my God, this terrible thing happened," a lot of the grown adults in a lot of these like online spaces don't really push back against these narratives. They'll even go as far as to sensationalize them because they look good. There's clout to gain from it, and they can gain like a platform from doing so. And just so they can pass the community's purity test to not like fail to be like, "Oh, I'm not that bad. See, I'm not that bad. Don't cancel me. I'm
Yeah.
not that bad." That's like how a lot of it tends to go, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So one thing, the Rigby costume. Do you still have it?
I don't, unfortunately. I had it for a
Damn.
while. And I have been, and this was a really fun thing. I have been very honest with you mentioned my relationship. I have been very honest with my partner about it, and they just think it's the funniest thing ever.
I guess I just got a question now. Like just this is
Yeah.
not on the script or anything or like the list of questions I have next to me.
No worries.
But this question, did your partner like does your partner know about my video? Did they like see the video or did they like look into it or
Um,
no?
I told them about the video.
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
was not like, yeah. I think they kind of just want to like disengage from stuff like this as much as possible, which is
Oh
fair.
yeah, no, that's yeah, absolutely.
They have their own life and everything,
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely.
but
Yeah, no, I would never ask who they are.
of course, but like no, but yeah, I don't have it anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. No, that was a bit of a joke question. So the like real final question, right? The actual like legitimate final question
Of course.
is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up? Do you feel like there's any other information that was potentially incorrect, sensationalized? Furthermore, do you have any like questions for me personally? Do you have just like anything you want to
Um,
say, like just ever?
I think I have to just keep reiterating stuff from the comment that I wrote down initially.
Yeah.
Like there was only one instance of me ever recording, someone's hiccups non-consensually.
Yeah.
That was just the thing that happened.
Sure. Yeah.
One time, and I also don't remember sending like pictures of myself to anyone more than a year younger than I was. But again, I don't want to like get into
Sure.
that because of
Yeah.
my holes in my memory.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I think that's kind of, and also all of this happened, just to be completely transparent, all of this happened when I was like 15 to 16, like all of the big things people
Yeah.
are talking about. Um,
I think some of the allegations included when you were like 14 as well, which is like again, that's very
yeah,
like I don't care about that as much to be honest with you, and I don't think anyone should because like who's the like what 13 or 14-year-old's going to know any better? Genuinely.
yeah, and really I like the only reason I feel like you said in the last video you made about this that like you were still trying to get over some of the anger when when you made that first video about me, when you made like the first video about me in 2018.
Yeah. I think
And so
I
I think that's where a lot of that came from. But
yeah.
yeah, the allegations are true. I did date a lot of people when I was like 14 and then just not stay with them for
I mean,
then just stay
it's
with them for like a ridiculously short amount of time.
yeah,
Yes.
that's like fuckboy behavior, which is not like listen, it's wrong to do
I did.
fuckboy behavior. I know like earlier this
Yeah.
year, I don't know if do you know who Harry Sisson is?
I don't.
So Harry Sisson was a TikToker. I saw Papa Gut cover this. It was like a really, it was very stupid. It was like Harry Sisson is like a political. I would say he's a young guy. He's like 22, 21 ish. He's a pretty young guy.
Okay.
But like he's basically he had some really, in my opinion, like nonsense allegations against him where he was kind of a fuckboy. He was not really as honest with some of these women that he was talking to who were all legal adults. Um,
Yeah.
and he was just like engaging in like fuckboy behavior where he was like not saying that he had like a roster of women that he was talking to. So like that's shitty. It's like, hey, do better. That's it. You shouldn't lose your entire career over it. He probably still cares about left leaning values. He probably still cares about women
Yeah.
to some capacity. Like he probably still cares. He's doing fine now. Like he got over it. Like I think he realized like because he used to apply a lot of that disproportionate energy to a lot of different people when he like with his platform like he would disproportionately apply that cancellation to other people and I think after going through it himself he finally like kind of stopped doing that, so I actually think like that cancellation in a weird way is actually overall going to be good for him in a weird way.
Yeah. But no, besides that, I think that's about all I have to say about everything.
Yeah.
If anyone really wants to like know my whole personal take on everything that happened, like I would say trust the comment that I initially made on Iconismus's first video about this topic.
Yeah.
It's pinned on there. AlchemistArea, the lol cow I helped to cancel, the first comment on that, the pinned comment on
Yeah.
that video. That is just my general, like, that's what you should refer to if you want, like, my statement as to what I think of all of this,
Yeah.
and to just everything airing out confusion. A lot of that has just been me reiterating things from there. But
Sure.
anyway, if there's any more questions, I'm happy to answer.
Just a side question. Thoughts on the title of the video, Alchemist Area, the lolcow I helped to cancel. Like, that's like as a title for the video.
I think it's a good title. I think it's I honestly um I have been, like, if I say, oh, I have been so offended about being called a lol cow, then that's the Streisand effect. But
It is
no,
what it
I
is.
just personally, I personally don't think of myself that way, because I think a lol cow is someone that you just, like,
Yeah.
milk for laughs constantly, because they're constantly,
Sure. No,
doing
yeah.
stupid shit. And I kind of feel like I don't fit into that description, because I was just radio silent for such a long time. But
No, yeah.
I don't want to go into specifics about it. Like, I could care less. I have people have
Yeah.
called me worse things,
Oh yeah, no.
obviously.
I mean, like, listen, like, if it makes you feel any better, I don't think you're on the same lolcow level as, like, I don't know, Chris Chan or something like that. That's obviously
Yeah,
like,
of
or like
course.
DSP Gaming, who is like legitimately, yeah. Like, anyway, yeah, that's I don't think you're on the same level as like that, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Area, thank you so much for doing this. This was the last thing I was expecting
You
from you. I'm not gonna lie, like the
Yeah,
interview and everything.
thank you for the opportunity, of course. And just I feel like there is one thing I should very much state.
Sure,
Like, just completely for the record, I am never coming back. I am not going to come back to the Optic Show community. I am not going to come back to, Area or Sohel Thirst in any capacity. Um,
sure,
this is kind of just all you're getting from me.
that makes
I
sense.
just
Yeah,
want to keep, I want to keep everyone I hurt who is still in that community um, as comfortable as I possibly can. I was even kind of worried about doing this, but really, I think misinformation. I can't really do misinformation about myself. I have to kind of combat against that. I'm learning with age. I should be doing that, but no, I am not making any more content. I have my own life now. I have a lot of other things that I have to think about. As fun as it would be to finish BFOD, I don't think that's in the cards.
maybe someday.
But yeah,
Maybe someday.
no,
BF45 is going to be
maybe
like Half-Life 3 at this point.
let's just say that. But
Sure, yeah.
no, truth is I'm not coming back to that account ever,
No, yeah, sure.
um, and I'm not coming back to that community ever. But
That makes,
and
yeah.
that's all I really had to clarify. Very, 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 like, candid.
Yep.
Anyway, but thank you so much for the opportunity to clear up the air a little bit. And um yeah, I don't really have much else. Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you so much for doing this, Ari. I appreciate it. And
Yeah, totally.
yeah, have a good one.
You have a good day.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, so I mean, I just left the call with him. So like one final time, I guess I'll just give my like I guess wrapping thoughts about the entire thing. Again, I think a lot of what Area did was considered inappropriate. We've already discussed that in the call, so it's not like I'm pulling a fast one by I'm not like trying to backstab him in this like final thoughts thing. I think what he did was inappropriate. But given, I think the level in which the allegations happened definitely could have been a little better, especially from myself, for sure. It is what it is, you can't change that it happened the way it did. I think Area can move on from this. That's really like my concluding thoughts is I think he can like move on from this whole situation just as a whole based on everything combined into one. Um, Obviously, he's not coming back to the Object Show community. That makes a lot of sense. And yeah, I just thought this was a very insightful and I guess, productive conversation that I was interested in having, and I appreciate Area for coming on here. So, yeah,